Russ from Pilates Guy, and a couple of things that have come up in some of my sessions recently I thought I would share in this really quick video about how to make your quad stretches more effective, and also your hip flexor stretches. The two are obviously linked. So often when we're stretching our quads in a group session, I'll see sometimes somebody will have their foot in their hand and their knee will be coming forwards like this, or they're kind of rounding down a little bit like this. This is really ineffective and you're not even really stretching very much. It's very important to at least have your knees in line when you're stretching your quads like this, having a wobble. Very important that they're in line at least, if not going back a little bit if you can. Okay, so it's very important to keep those knees in line, not letting the knee come forward because it shuts off the stretch, particularly into the hip. Also, stay up nice and tall in your upper body. Even if you need to come to something like I'm doing here and hold on to something, the next thing you need to do to intensify this stretch and make this more efficient isn't just hold onto your foot and pull. You tuck your tailbone under a little bit and engage your glute. Just gently ease your hip forwards and you will feel that intensify into your hip. So that's just the basic stretch. You need the knees in line and you just want to tuck your tailbone and ease your hip forward slightly, keeping those knees in line. There's one more way you can make this more effective if you want a deeper stretch into quads, and that's to actually push your foot into your hand when you're in this stretch, tucking tailbone, easing hip forward, knees in line, and push your foot into your hand, and that will increase the intensity of the stretch into the quad and into those hip flexors. Also, don't let the knee go out to the side as well, because that completely changes the stretch again. So keeping those knees in line or a little bit back, pushing the foot into the hand makes it more intense, and just making sure every time that you do tuck the tailbone and ease your hip forwards when you're doing this stretch, okay? And that will make it much more effective. No one's ever told you, you won't know, so I thought I'd make a video. The other one is this specific hip flexor stretch, where often I'll see people kind of really stretching out here, feeling like they need to go this far to stretch hip flexors and saying, oh, even here, I'm just not really feeling much of a stretch. Well, you don't need to go that far. You only really, unless you are very flexible, need 90 and 90 in your legs. Nice tall posture again. And some of the same is going to apply to what we've just did with the quad stretch. So it's hands on hips. Tuck your tailbone and you will feel that stretch come into your hip flexor straight away without even stretching out really long or moving anywhere, without even pushing your hip forward. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your bum under into a pelvic tilt, and you will feel a posterior pelvic tilt, and you will feel that hip flexor stretch. Then you can increase the intensity by squeezing your bum and easing gently forwards without having to stretch your foot a million miles away into the splits, and you'll feel that intensifies that stretch. Okay, so that's a great way to just make sure you're correctly stretching those hip flexors. If you want to make hip flexor stretches more intense and again deeper, you've got a couple of options. Everything the same as I've just explained, but you take a little rotation over towards your opposite knee, and that will increase the intensity. You can also, to go one further, into a bit of a back bend almost, you've got to use your core for this, but the side you're stretching, you reach up with your hand toward the ceiling and you look at your hand, you engage your core, your other hand goes onto your knee for support, big breath in, you breathe out, you continue to tuck your tailbone and push your hip forward, but you slowly reach back, and this gets right into your psoas major, those hip flexors. You probably feel a bit in the quad, down into the quad as well. So there's a way to maximize your hip flexor stretches, and a couple of tips on how to make sure you actually stretch your quads correctly as well, as ways to maximize that. Hopefully that was useful. If you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. It's info@pilatesguy.co.uk, or you can contact me through the website www.pilatesguy.co.uk. Whilst you're there, at the moment I've got a 7-day free trial on my on-demand platform, which is just beginner courses, intermediate and even some advanced sessions, stretch sessions. There's sport-specific sessions on there as well, and I add content every single week onto that for $7.99 a month. But there's a 7-day free trial, so nothing to lose to go and try that out. And you just go onto my on-demand page on my website, and you can just sign up there. Otherwise, please hit the like button, please hit subscribe, and again, give me a shout if you've got any questions at all. Hope that's useful, and speak to you again soon.